What's going on? And welcome back to another episode of Keep It Moving Podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Mike B. And joining me tonight is the lovely, beautiful Novelty.
Well, hello.
Don't look at me like that. I gave you a compliment the last time. I want people to know that you're not just a pretty voice.
I don't know if that was a compliment or not.
Yes, it was a compliment. How are you?
Thank you. I'm wonderful.
Awesome. We got snow today. Snow in Kansas City. I didn't expect it because
whoever brought it could have kept it.
Wednesday felt so. Was it Wednesday? I think Thursday even felt pretty good. I actually don't remember. One of those days was really good.
60s and 70s for a minute.
Right. And then when they said we're supposed to get like freezing rain or snow on Saturday, I'm like, you sure you're watching? Did you refresh the screen? Because clearly that has changed.
Do you know where you live?
I forgot. Because things can change in a moment, and they certainly did. And I woke up to snow. And ain't nobody got time. Nobody got time for that.
I let my dog out, and even she stopped and looked like, what?
Snow.
See what happened.
Anyway, what's up? What's new with you?
Nothing
You want to tell everybody about you growing up going to Disney World? Or is it Disney World or Disneyland?
Disney World.
Disney World.
I've been to Disneyland. Well, I've been to Disney World too. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Tell them that you're an adult.
Okay, I think everybody knows I'm an adult.
I don't know, because I feel like adults shouldn't be excited about going to Disney. Like where little, I guess I get excited about going to the arcade to play old school, games.
There you go.
But it's at a bar where you got drinks, and you got to be 21 to get in there.
That's just an excuse.
Oh, is that what?
Disney World has bars and drinks that you got to be 21 to drink.
But they don't have Mickey Mouse where I go. I'm just saying.
No, but they got what? Pinball and Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man and Centipede.
Yeah,
and but see, those are games. Galactica.
Those are games for like older people. Mickey Mouse ain't for older people.
That's not true. Do you know how many adults love Mickey Mouse? You were a minority in that.
I didn't want to be scared with this figure. But Novelty is going to be graduating soon, so shout out to you. I know you're excited about that.
Yes, thank the Lord.
And we had an opportunity to see our boy JT this week. Like I told you guys, he was in a theatrical production of Jim. What was it called? Jim of the Ocean, an August Wilson play. He's the same playwright who wrote Fences, that new movie it was a play first, but it turned into a movie, award-winning movie. Viola Davis won all those awards for her, role or supporting actress role in Fences. Then she won an Oscar, a Tony, and some more stuff. She doing it. Shout out to her. She should have been, our Black Girl Magic or whatever for this week. I have another lady in mind, but Viola Davis is also doing big things. Anyway, JT, he's in this production called Jim of the Ocean. Me and Novelty and another friend of ours, Nisha. You guys know Nisha. We got an opportunity to go and see him.
They took him out. Yes.
And the play was pretty good. I don't think it was as good as the other play we saw him in.
No, I don't think it was as good, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. Novelty. I'm gonna have a conversation with you about play etiquette.
Whatever. I was happy when they took him out.
I felt like the stereotypes you see of the black girls in the movie theater yelling at the TV or yelling at the screen. That was you. And I'm like, if she don't shut up, you trying to get somebody to hit JT. Just hit him. I said,
because he was just hating on everybody.
That's his character. That's his character.
That's him. Period.
That is him. I've been trying to tell people that JT is a hater, and that's why they usually fashion roles around his hating, because he can do it very well.
He walked in hating. Just the moment he walked in as the police. Mm-hmm. You know how black people feel about the police right now.
He played that role well.
And I mean, all I could think is just anybody. It didn't matter who hit him. Somebody hit him, slap him. The old woman could have hit him. She could have hit him with a cane. I'd have been happy.
And you did you notice that a lot of people still had respect for him until that one scene where they actually hit him and took him down? But he was asking for it, in that moment.
I don't know who had respect for him. I didn't.
I'm saying, like, they didn't like challenge him. They didn't try to fight him. They listened to what he said. His sister was there to stick up for him. So they kind of understood. They didn't disrespect him. I'll say that.
True.
You didn't like that?
And I wish they'd have hit him the moment he walked through the door.
That would have probably changed the play.
They hit him, but that's all that mattered.
And you was excited after that.
Oh, yes. I slept with a smile on my face for 3 days.
And this is her love for our boy JT.
And it was so good because his daddy is the one that hit him.
Oh, yeah. I forgot his dad was in the play as well. But it was good. It was good seeing him because we don't, get to see him that often. But let's go ahead and get right into the show. Before we do that, like I said, I got some positive or like, what do you call it?
Fingers moving.
Yeah, I forgot because I had it in my head what I wanted to call like when we give shout outs to like black people doing boss things or holding their own. I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but who we're recognizing this week is a beautiful young woman named Stephanie Johnson, who has been coined as Delta's first black female captain, and I bet you that's like real loud in their ears right now, you clapping. But this is not her first. She's been a pilot for a while, and she also made history, I believe, back in 1997 when she became the first black female pilot for Northwest Airlines. This is Delta finally getting a black female pilot. I don't think too many women, go into those roles. And so her coming out and I guess them recognizing her, and then I just saw Hidden Figures, and we're learning the story of those women and how they contributed to sending men to space.
Right.
Black girls can do anything. Yeah. So
you shocked? You surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm just reiterating that there are other things.
Sounded like surprise.
There are other things out there for women to do. There's things out there for black women to do. And it's not just, staying at home and cooking. They're out here making boss moves.
Long time. And if we want it, we go for it.
Right on. Now, before we get into our political topics, which we're not going to talk too much about Trump. I know you guys are like, let me turn off now. No, we're not going to be talking about Trump too much. I don't even think I'm going to mention Trump, I don't think. But we will be talking a little bit about politics. Before then, I want to talk to you about Facebook groups. Okay. What's your stance on Facebook groups?
Do not add me to one. You can tell me about one, but don't add me to one, especially if it's going to be one that give me notifications anytime somebody puts something on it.
I've never understood why Facebook would allow somebody to be able to add you to a group, no matter what it is, without your permission.
Right.
I mean, you get a notification saying, hey, so-and-so added you to this group. And I remember one time someone added me to like a 18 plus, a sex group.
Oh, wow.
And so like I got the notification, but I was at work, so I didn't see it. And then I'm on Facebook and I'm scrolling, and all of a sudden I'm seeing ass, I'm seeing, boobies. I'm like, well, I guess I can't look at Facebook at work anymore because most jobs kind of frown upon you looking at pornographic images while you're on the clock. I mean, they didn't mind you looking at Facebook, but my Facebook was lit. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then, I stayed in the group for about another month. And then
really?
I mean, I had to appreciate, some of the stuff I was seeing. But I never participated, so I didn't really understand. I guess I do understand it's just sharing pictures or whatever. But just to add somebody to a group like that
I've been added to like black women in business.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it makes sense to invite.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
And the biggest problem with the adding is then you start getting notifications on the group, and people set up the group to where they notify you every time somebody posts to it, and it could be anybody. So I would notice my phone would just start beeping like every 5 seconds.
Right.
And like at this point now, Facebook it'll vibrate, but there's no sound when I get a Facebook post. That's how I know it's Facebook because all it does is it vibrates. And I'll have to go in and remove myself out of these groups. And I'm like, I don't know who's doing this. Don't put me in nothing I don't ask to be. Invite me. You're more than welcome to. Tell me to check it out. I'll look into it, but do not put me in it.
But a booty group or
you better
where
not
they
put me in
nude pictures.
I'm already deleting people off my Facebook who post too many pictures of girls in their bikinis.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just admiring the beautiful female figure.
I don't want to see that.
Oh, you may not want to see it. I understand.
If y'all want to see that, that's fine. One of my siblings does this a lot. Post pictures of like Jet Magazine beauties and things like that. I mean, they not really bad.
They're celebrating
pictures.
black beauties.
That but I don't want to open my Facebook to see the Jet Centerfold every 5 minutes.
Especially when you're looking for a recipe to show, one of your grandparents or something like that.
Right. So it's like, and I keep warning him. I'm like, I'm going to block you from Facebook. So I finally got to the point where I don't block him, but
you can hide. Yeah, you can hide.
I don't see anything he posts. And I'm like, if you want me to see something, you got to send it to me personally.
And I'm wondering, I wonder if they actually remove that automatic feature where you're a part of the group, whether you don't have to accept or anything like that.
I don't know, but they need to turn it off.
It's been a while. And that, talking about that Facebook group had me thinking, when was the last time, if you want to admit on the show, that you've sent a picture of yourself, maybe nude, maybe semi-nude, to your dude or whoever. Did they have phones back then?
Anyway, I kind of sort of did send one to my mama.
Wait a
However,
minute. Wait a minute.
You said semi-nude.
Yeah.
It was right after I had my surgery. I was showing her my scar, and my scar is up under my left breast.
Okay.
So I had my left breast pulled up so you couldn't see my nipple or anything, but you could see the under boob. And when I sent it to her, she said, "Now don't be sexting. That stuff get on the internet and everybody see it."
Exactly.
So that's the last time I sent one.
Okay, how long? That was what, last year? Sometime last year.
Beginning of this year when I
your
had my
surgery was this. Yeah.
It was January.
That's right. Was it? I thought it was like Christmas.
No, it's January.
Okay, but anyway. What about not your mom? Like an actual, you're in a relationship and you're sending.
It's been probably a couple of years.
I think it's been about 7 years since I've did that. Now, did they ask you for them, or were you just like, hey, thinking of you?
Who knows? We in the mode. It was I was in a relationship with somebody, so I don't know.
Are you the type that you don't want unsolicited, nudes?
Not from people I don't know.
Like just random in your inbox, hey, good morning.
Not from people I don't know. If I'm in a sexual relationship with somebody, that's a little different. But from random people I don't know. Now I know.
I never understood. Women get those in their inbox.
Yeah, Sean used to get them in her inbox. The girl who used to host the show. She got a couple of those in her inbox. I think in her Instagram. And she was like, "What in the world is going on?"
And it's like, what are you putting out there to make people think that this is okay?
Nothing.
Well, I guess some guys just don't care.
Some guys just do it.
Like, you got a pretty face or you got a pretty body. Good morning. This is me.
Yeah, you could put your me back up. If we ain't supposed to be knowing each other like that, I don't need to see you like that.
You can put your me back up. That's funny. Anyway, okay, on to some more serious stuff. We talked about, and I don't remember quite when this was, but we talked about a story with this judge in Canada, and he was presiding over this rape case, and he was talking to the victim, asking her, why couldn't you just keep your legs closed and try to skew your, Well, he ended up stepping down. I think it went through a judicial review or some board, looked it over, and they recommended.
He stepped down.
That he stepped down.
And that was in Canada?
Yeah, they were saying there's a Canadian federal judge.
Okay.
But he stepped down because he realized, or he said that evidently, I was easily influenced by I guess what was going on in the case, which I think we were saying the same thing. You don't need to. How are you going to tell the victim? You should have did more to try to prevent somebody from forcing themselves.
More American judges need to step down.
Did you hear about talking about judges? Did you hear about who was it? I think Jeff Sessions asking those 48 U.S. attorney generals
49,
to resign.
Yep.
It was 49 to resign.
Yep.
And it was one in New York that was like, hey, I ain't going nowhere.
And all 49 did.
What?
They said all 49 said, you got to fire me.
Oh, did he? I thought the others. Well, he's the only one that made headlines, I guess.
Right, he's the only one that made headlines. But I did see one headline that said all 49 said no. Trump is gonna have to fire us.
Why would you expect me to just say, okay, I'm going to bow out. I'm going to resign.
The reason, and I haven't really posted anything about it on Facebook. I haven't posted anything to the page because the main thing is this is not abnormal. That's the problem. This happens all the time. This now, but. Sometimes,
with the new presidency.
not all the time. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes one administration will ask everybody to go. Sometimes they'll just ask some of them to resign. Sometimes they ask all of them to resign. It happens. So I can't really, if Democrats will do it, we can't talk about Republicans doing it. I don't want to be the one person that's sitting there, okay, well, I can do it, but you can't. That's Trump's whole thing. I can do it, but you can't.
Right.
And we shouldn't be like that. So if Democrats can, because if the Democrats can
we
ask
ain't turning the other cheek now. It's a new game.
Well, you're right about that.
This is a new game.
But even still, I haven't really talked about it because it's not abnormal. The 49 deciding they didn't want to. I mean, if my boss told me you're gonna have to resign, I'm probably like, no, you're gonna have to fire me. I need my unemployment. So, you know, I don't. I mean, they did what they felt they needed to do, and it is what it is. But I can't really take a stance on this one because it's both parties do it.
Well, while we're on Jeff Sessions, we can go ahead and talk about the fact that he.
Wait a minute. Was you making a point about the judge?
No, I had already said, you know, I was just giving an update because we talked about that story before. But going back to Jeff Sessions, during his Senate confirmation hearing, they asked him, did he have any dealings with Russia?
Right.
And he's another person.
I didn't deal with Russia.
Yeah. And he's another part of Trump's administration.
No, and they didn't ask him if he dealt with Russia. They asked him what would he do if he found out someone had dealt with Russia. And his
response.
I didn't
have
deal with
yeah.
Russia. That was not the question that was on the table. That's where the problem is with the perjury charge.
Right. Have they tried to charge him with perjury?
Legally, legally, the question is, can they? Because they didn't ask the question. He just provided the information. So there's a question about legally, can they? They haven't yet.
Do you think they will?
I doubt it.
Why? Because it is the Republican Congress?
No, because it's a Republican court.
Everything, yeah.
I mean, well, not only that, it's a Republican court, but again, the question, even if the Democrats push it, the question still lies, did he actually perjure himself? Because he was never asked the question. He just volunteered some information. If it was a black man in court, it would be considered perjury. You know, this is what happens when you can afford to get a lawyer versus having to deal with a public defender.
But anyway, because of that, you know, Democrats are calling for him to resign. The people were calling for him to resign. I was calling for him to resign because I don't like his ass. I don't like anything about this administration.
I don't like him. I don't like him personally being over. I don't like him being the top cop.
And and then looking at the moves that he's making, I think he tried to put. He gonna say we're gonna be more. We're gonna stop.
He's already done
the police charging police or something like that.
The civil rights charges. You know, Obama's administration, or under Obama's administration, the attorney generals were looking into a lot of the police departments and making recommendations and saying, hey, things need to change, and charging them with civil rights abuses. And he's getting ready. He's already said he's pulling back on those. So, yeah, I mean, I want.
Is that what happened in like Baltimore and in I think Cleveland?
Yeah, a lot of states, even right down here in St. Louis.
Okay.
You know, Obama's administration said, y'all got to do something. Y'all got to make changes. And his he's already said, nope, we're not doing that.
And what kind of sense does that make? If you're here, well, I guess he's not here for the people.
No,
but you would think.
I mean, this is a man who Coretta Scott King did not want to sit. This is a man who's already been lost a job due to the fact that people believed him to be racist back in the 70s. He an old white man too. Mm-hmm. Back in the 70s, if he was thought to be racist, now he's an older white man. I'm sure he is racist.
He has no reason not to be.
He would, and the reality is, it's not about. It's about the times that he lived in. When he was in his prime, in his youth, that was the social thing to be.
Right.
You know, I mean,
everybody, all his friends were.
What's the 88 Sterling, the guy, the basketball player?
Uh-huh.
I mean, is anybody shocked that he was a racist? No. when he was in his prime, that's what America was. It was socially normal. It was the correct thing to be at that time. Whether it was right or wrong, that is what the social standard was. So for him to be racist now, yeah, I would not expect any different.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, there are old white men that are not racist.
Right. And there are black people who could give two shits about white people. I know some.
There you go.
Because they lived through those times,
right,
and they know how people work.
Times. And I mean, so you can't take their history away from them either.
Right.
He just don't need to be attorney general.
Right. Making decisions.
They said he didn't need to be it back then. He dang on sure don't need to be it now.
But he ended up, because of this and the outcries of everybody, he ended up recusing himself from any hearings or anything dealing with Trump campaign and Russia. Of course Trump didn't like that, because he put this guy in place to make sure that things went his way.
But I mean, even if he recuses himself, the person who's going to step up and do it is going to be somebody that works up under.
Right.
So what difference does that make?
It doesn't make any difference. And I don't expect, just like Republicans are still trying to act like they think this is propaganda and there's no, we keep proving over and over again that people in Trump's administration were colluding with Russia.
They talk about, I mean, as soon as they found out about him, shortly after that, they found out about somebody else in Trump's son-in-law.
Oh, yeah. Met with the Russian ambassador or something like that.
Really, dude? You can't sit here and say collusion when all things point back to you having something to do with Russia. The only thing they haven't found is you.
And it's only a matter of time that we know of. And I just don't trust that anything's going to get done. I feel like, even if the FBI is investigating.
I just want them to, at this point, I just want them to keep him busy for 4 years. I don't care. Y'all can lie, come up with 50 million stories. Just keep him too busy so he is too spanned out in his head. He can't do it. He can't focus on messing nothing up because he got too much of his own dirt coming back to bite him in the butt.
But I feel like he's rushing and doing all these executive orders, making all these decisions because he might not be there for too long. And so he's doing what he needs to do in order to jack stuff up for the normal people, regular people.
And he's doing a good job.
Right.
He's doing a good job.
Helping his brothers out, the rich.
To some degree, everything he's doing, I'm just like, that's what the people who voted for him get.
They don't even, I don't even think they understand what he's doing.
They don't understand now, but when it actually goes into effects and gets into motion, they are going to feel it. The only problem is everybody else got to feel it.
We got to deal with it too.
Feel it with them. That's the biggest problem.
I said I want to go talk about Trump. How did you do that?
Know how did I do that?
Yeah.
I don't know how we always get here. He need to be gone. But Jeff Sessions, he needs to resign, but he's not going to.
He's not going to, because he has the backing and support of the president.
He's not going to until Trump makes him.
And why would he? He needs
I don't know.
Him.
He made
Michael Flynn.
He made him resign, and then come to find out this guy been working for Turkey.
Yeah.
Like, and Trump don't know nothing about it.
He act like he didn't know about it.
Oh my God, how do you not know anything about? The first thing is, well, I didn't know. You can't just say I didn't know. These people work for you.
But one
thing, at some point you have to take responsibility.
You have to take responsibility, especially being the chief. What do you think about the one thing he did know? President Obama had Trump Towers wiretapped. It's like, where do you get this stuff from? And so everybody's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, this is serious. Where's your evidence? And he's just acting like, hey.
I woke up. And I wake up and I'll look at my phone, and I always do, because sometimes I forget to turn my ringer back on. And if somebody texts me in the middle of the night or called me, I totally would have missed it. So I'm checking for that. But also, I want to check to see if anything important happened overnight. Mm-hmm. And I wake up and I look at my phone and I said, what kind of foolishness is this? Mm-hmm. And I just really sat down and I thought, he's a crazy old man. This is a conversation you would have with a crazy old man.
And you would think that he would, at this point, I don't know why I keep expecting him to be an adult and know some shit, but you would think at this point he would, if he feels this way or if he has evidence of whatever, then he would go to his team and he would go about it the legal way instead of going to Twitter.
It's like, really?
because you constantly expose your ignorance, and you expect other countries to respect you
right. And then of course the the guy heading up the FBI, Comey, who don't nobody like anyway, because of the stuff that he did to interfere with the election. He's now, who was on Trump's side, now got to sit here and defend himself, because you not only, with that statement, you didn't just go after Obama.
Yeah, you indicated a lot of other organizations.
Every single intelligence organization in this country.
Right.
So now all the intelligence organizations are stepping up saying, whoa, wait a minute. We didn't have nothing to do. And Comey's begging the Attorney General's office to denounce this immediately. And they don't respond because guess what? They work for Trump.
Right. Jeff Sessions is there.
So nobody responds. And now this is what really pisses me off. My tax dollars are now going to investigate this. Not only are my tax dollars going again to investigate voter fraud, because this fool keeps saying 3 million people voted that were illegal. And so far, all the possible illegal voters have all been Republicans who supported him. Mm-hmm. But now I've got to sit here and waste taxpayer dollars for Congress to investigate this. And in order to prove that this happened, you have to it's only one way Obama could have done that. Well, it's two ways. Obama could have snuck out of the White House without his Secret Service, climbed it, went into Trump Tower, went in through Trump's house, and secretly put in some of them little pin cameras you can buy on the internet all over his house. Or he would have had to get a court order from a federal judge.
Right.
And a federal judge gave him a court order.
Yeah.
He did it legally, and Trump was up to something. So why would you even what I don't understand is why you would put yourself,
because it implicates kind of that,
it implicates you more than it implicates anybody else. I'm like, this fool.
He's an idiot.
So anyway, we're not talking about Trump anymore.
Okay. Well, another idiot is part of Trump's administration, Dr. Ben Carson, who is the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. I guess I don't even know what this event was. It was like a welcoming to him when he's up giving this speech, talking like he's a preacher or a motivational speaker.
Like a motivational speech to his new team, his new HUD team.
Yeah. And this is when he decides to talk about, slavery, but he didn't call them slaves. He was talking about immigrants, coming over here. No, I'm going to tell you exactly what he said. He said, America, that's what America is about. A land of dreams and opportunity. There were other immigrants who came here in the bottom of slave ships, worked even longer, even harder for less. But they too, my friend, they too had a dream that one day their sons, daughters, grandsons, granddaughters, great-grandsons. This sounds like I'm writing a paper and the teachers, they counting the words and I don't really know what to say. So I'm like, very,
That's
very.
What he was trying to, he didn't know what to say.
Why is it like great-grandsons, great-granddaughters might pursue prosperity and happiness in this land?
Okay.
Really?
Foremost. Webster's definition of immigrant is one that immigrates, such as a person who comes to a country to take up permanent residence. Now, let me tell you, I don't have to have lived there at that time to tell you that my great grandmama and granddaddy did not get on a boat.
They didn't voluntarily
and come
get on that
over
boat
here to take up permanent residence. They had a permanent residence. They were ripped from their permanent residence and thrown into a boat in which they were shackled
right
next to each other like sardines, slept in little holes, were not given proper clothing, were living in their own feces.
Right.
Their food was thrown right down into that feces and they had to eat it or either die. Some of them jumped ship and threw themselves in shark-infested waters rather than finish that dang on long journey to come over here and be thrown out in cotton fields, thrown into some master's bed or somebody else's bed for that matter.
Right.
No.
But they were trying to pursue happiness, though. They
had happiness.
They knew about the struggle. They knew it wouldn't be easy.
It was no pursuit of happiness, of coming to it. They weren't pursuing.
He's
anything.
A damn fool.
If they were pursuing happiness, they were pursuing it in Africa.
It's like, why are you even trying to soften slavery or try to paint this alternative picture of what things were back then? You a black man. Did you forget?
Yes.
Oh. I didn't expect you to answer, but yes, clearly.
I mean, he had to.
And it almost reminds me of people who they get a little money and you forget where you came from, and now you up here, I guess, tap dancing for the white man.
This is beyond forgetting where you came from. That was an insult,
and he's trying to change history,
right? And it's an insult to his heritage, his lineage. It's an insult to not only that, but it's an insult to what he has become.
Right.
He's a black neurologist. Do you know how many of those exist? Not many.
And I'm having my doubts.
It is an insult to who he is as a man. Yeah. So he just said and insulted his own damn self.
I guarantee you, he didn't see it that way. What did he say?
I don't know. I don't remember his exact words. Just some BS about, I just used the wrong choice of words.
All of them were wrong.
Choice of words. There was nothing right.
Unless you were saying, there were immigrants that came here in pursuit of a better life.
No black ones.
And not
back then.
And not in slave ships.
Right. And not in slavery.
That is not anybody's preferred method of travel. Right. He's a stupid asshole. And then I like, what did Samuel Jackson, he tweeted him. And he said, okay, Big Carson, I can't. Immigrants in the bottom of slave ships, motherfucker, please.
And I can hear that coming from him.
Because like every time I hear anybody say that word, it's like attributed to, like he created the word, because Samuel Jackson says it like the best.
Right. The only other person I know that can say that word as well or could say was Bernie Mac.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so when I hear, I could hear that come out of his mouth.
And everybody went off because like they're trying to create this alternative history, and then going back to what they were trying to do in Texas. I think it was Texas, where they were trying to change the history books and soften up slavery and try to portray them as immigrants that came here. Okay,
let me say this to any white people listening. Not trying to offend y'all at all, but we are not going to let that go.
Right.
That doesn't get to be changed. You don't get to rewrite history because it makes you feel uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable right now. Our people were uncomfortable, unlovable, everything. They weren't even considered people. So just because you're uncomfortable with it, you better find a way to get comfortable with it. Find a way to realize that you are not your ancestors. You are not the one who did that. And make sure you live your life not preserving that, but trying to be better than that. Mm-hmm. But you don't get to rewrite history. And anybody who sits up and believes by any little shadow of a doubt that an immigrant, a slave, was an immigrant, that black people immigrated to this country, get that out of your head. We did not. We were brought here against our will. We did not want to come over here. We did not want to pursue happiness. We did not want any of those things that you all think America stood for back then, because that's not what it stood for us. It was misery for us. This meant misery. For any of us, it meant misery and death. So guaranteed, we didn't want to be here, but guess what? We're here and you ain't sending us back because we ain't going nowhere.
Right. And
except they trying not to let Mos Def back in the country.
Yeah, for his tour.
Right.
I saw that.
Wow, is all I can say.
That's when you step your legal team up because something ain't right. But with 45 in position,
you might have to wait till 45 leave.
Ridiculous.
Before you can do anything.
Anyway, on that note, that's all I have. Beautiful people. You got anything?
No, I think I fussed enough.
Right on. You're a fusser. You're good at it. We appreciate your fussing. Just as long as it's not directed at us.
Hush it. I am gathering more information about the new healthcare bills that are on the table. Right now, it's nothing to talk about yet, just because it's not enough information, and even the Republicans are not all going for it yet. But One thing I can tell you is those states that did accept the Medicaid money, that Medicaid money is in jeopardy. So if you deal with Medicaid or you're getting any money from the state for your health care, then you might want to really pay attention to what's going on, because that money is in jeopardy.
And then next show, hopefully there's more information out, or we're more versed in it, and maybe you can talk about it.
Well, yeah, because I mean, they've only kind of briefly hit on it here and there.
And then when you see doctors holding, press
doctors are
conferences,
against
and
it,
then like,
the nurses'
hell no, the
organizations
American
are
Medical
against it,
Association.
and Republicans are against it.
Yeah.
So as long as Republicans are against it right now, nothing's happening. But even still, it wouldn't go into effect until 2020. But tax credits would immediately stop. So I'm working on it.
All right, right on. Well, that's all we got, people. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Peace.
Good night.